Once again, I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out Everyday Short Stories. This month's theme was love, and here I am starting off the storytelling with my definition of love. Just a quick warning, there is some adult subject matter that may not be suitable for everyone. I think I'll kick off with my story of love, if you guys are ready. Okay. I'm calling this love, the definition of love by me. Growing up, I had kind of unique parents. They were very compassionate people. If a neighbor was having trouble with a car, my dad would help fix it. If a woman around the corner was literally having a mental breakdown, my mom would come and console her and give her furniture and slip her a couple bucks to try to get by. That being said, my parents never used the word love. When my dad would have his birthday, we'd have these massive spaghetti dinners that my mom would make, and it was wonderful. And I would turn to my dad and say, "Dad, you love spaghetti." And he's like, "Well, I don't love spaghetti. I like spaghetti." I mean, he couldn't commit to his favorite food, you know. So, it was rough growing up because I was a huge empath, and I don't know where it came from because it really didn't exist in my family. They were loving, they were caring, they were sympathetic, but they really had no empathy. I mean, it was kind of a weird world to grow up in. So when I went off to college, I started looking for love. I wasn't conscious that that's what I was looking for, but it was this innate need I had to find and try to get an understanding of what love was. So I dated a few people, and then I started dating someone very seriously, and this person came from a wealthy family, and they talked a lot about love, and they all went to therapy, and I thought, oh, okay, this is cool, she seems cool. And then she did a lot of fancy things to my loins, and I was young, and my loins were very happy, and I thought, this is definitely love. I mean, if she's doing this while we're driving, this is somebody who loves me. And she would talk about love, and I really thought this was it. Well, it wasn't, and she was not the person I thought she was. And that kind of manifested itself in the fact that, in ways of her, she had an autoimmune issue that they couldn't figure out. Well, it turns out she was a raging alcoholic, and nobody wanted to admit that, including me, the guy who was dating her. And that would cause her elbows and knees and fingers to swell up. And so she kept going to doctors and all these different practitioners. Finally, she found one that said, "Oh, it's your boyfriend. He has chlamydia, and he keeps giving you chlamydia. So we keep putting you on antibiotics, and he keeps giving it to you." And she's like, "He doesn't have any symptoms." And and the doctor said, "Well, 1% to 2% of people who have chlamydia don't have symptoms." I'm just going to say I'm not that lucky. I mean, I'm just not that guy. But to prove that I love this woman, right, to prove to her that I would do anything for her, I went to the free clinic to get tested. And I won't go into details, but the free clinic is a torture chamber. I mean, they're not gentle. So, after I tested negative, as they say, for everything, I realized that this relationship wasn't for me, and this wasn't love. So the years went by, and I was dating other people and going, here and there, and I moved to Chicago, and I dated people. And every once in a while, somebody would do a fancy trick that inflamed my loins, but I knew it wasn't love because of this one woman. But I found somebody who wasn't about the physical. She was about the psychological torture. And she was really good at it. And so every time we had a conflict, it was something that she usually manifested or made up or initiated. And then she would turn it back on me. And she knew all my weaknesses. Oh, you grew up working class, so obviously because you're poor, you don't understand. and I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. I was a sucker for it. But as that relationship developed, and I realized that she was full of crap, and that she was manipulating me, I decided, well, I don't want that. So I decided I don't want somebody who's about, just sex, and I don't want somebody who's about manipulating me. I need to find out what love really is. And again, I started dating people, but I started to develop rules, things that I wanted in a relationship. Really simple things, like I want honesty. I don't want games. I would go out with a woman and I would say, listen, this is who I am. I don't want games. I want to date you. If you want to date other people, that's fine. I may date other people. We may end up in a monogamous relationship, but I don't want to jump into anything. I don't want to jump into a relationship. Oh, that's exactly what I want. Oh my God, you're reading my mind. I want a serious relationship. Like, well, no, I just explained, So that went on for years. And it went on for so long, and I thought that my rules were so strict that I was never going to find anybody. And I'm married now, and I told my wife at the time when we were dating that I actually thought about getting a tattoo saying alone forever. So I was actually contemplating that because I really felt that I would never find anybody. But then I met my wife, and I have to say, and she brought this up as a funny note, we both said to each other, we don't want to date anybody. We don't want to go out on dates. We're both getting out of, relationships, and we're both kind of not in this dating mood, but we'll hang out as friends. So our first friend get together, we both dressed up, and we both looked really nice, and at the end of our dinner, we had a little make-out session on her front steps, so it was very funny. But I at the time, I honestly believed that we were just going to hang out as friends. And the great thing about that was there was no pretense. I told her about all my crappy relationships, and she told me all about her crappy relationships, and she gave me, her definition of love, of honesty and openness, and constantly trying to be honest and open. I mean, being honest and open is hard work. I mean, it's really tough, and I'm not that good at it, but I'm trying. And when I met my wife, that's what we were. We were two people who were very open and honest. And as our relationship's gone on, there's been times where she's struggled because I'll get depressed and withdraw, or she'll get frustrated and I withdraw because that tends to be my MO. But we together are constantly working on, our relationship and constantly working on love because we love each other. And there's no games. There's not, oh, well, David's pissed, so I'm going to go do this, or Heather doesn't want this, so I'm going to go do that. There's just no game playing. We're just honest and open. And that's the one thing that we tried to do, and that's the one thing I would look for, or the two things I looked for, really. So that's my definition of love. So thank you. Thanks for checking out my story. And don't forget to click like and subscribe, and also comment if you like or dislike or hate or loathe or love or are indifferent about my stories. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks. Bye.